spirit of desperation, we come back today to talk about our, or rather to rank the 6 major factions in the Star Wars movies. Just the 6 main ones. I know when I mentioned this to someone that we were doing, he was like, "Oh, are you gonna talk about the Gungan army?" I'm like, "No."
The Gungan army, yeah, with
Nope.
all their spaceships.
yeah. I'm like, no, because once you start doing that, it opens the floodgate to like,
it's like, okay, are Tusken Raiders an army?
Yeah, what about the lemur people in that one episode of Clone Wars?
Nope.
Technically, they're a faction. They're
Yeah.
like it's like, okay,
Yeah.
so
okay,
just...
Mandalorians.
Oh, God, that's... Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like Darth Maul's little... Not Crimson Dawn, the like Shadow Collective in the Clone Wars. It's like technically they were like a third party in the Clone Wars, but only can be talking about the main 6. Okay, you go first. Give me your number 6.
So my number 6 was the Resistance.
Okay.
And specifically, I put them as my least favorite under the First Order because they... First of all, what are they resisting? They won. They won. What are they resisting?
The First Order? I don't know.
Wow. That's like they're because technically who's Leia's leading, they're like, oh, the Resistance doesn't like us. They don't support us really.
Yeah.
So it's like that's not even the Resistance.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's like the Resistance is a bunch of people who get blown up. And
wow.
and I still consider them one of the main armies because they are, but they don't do anything but die. And the First Order literally just stomps them at every turn. It's like the First Order is more effective than the Empire was at killing the Resistance.
Okay.
At the Rebels, it's like,
okay.
It's such a drop ball. Like I wanted to know what happened after the Rebels took over, like as a political whatever.
Okay.
No.
No. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so that was my number 6. What about you?
It's the exact same. That's why I was kind of laughing, because you were also saying the things I was thinking of when I was like, what am I going to... So I kind of tried to like, when I was ranking them, like, okay, easily Resistance is my least favorite. And I was thinking like, why? And then I started thinking about like, what do I like about the other factions? They got like the infantry and the troops. They got the leadership. And then like, what's like their goal or philosophy? Okay, so... The goal and philosophy of the Resistance is to, at first, stop the First Order from taking over. Then it's survive and stop the First Order because they've already taken over. And then it's stop the Sith fleet. And I don't know. It just doesn't make sense why the New Republic, why it's not like the New Republic fleet. And then when the First Order nukes the Hosnian system, the remnants of that New Republic fleet become the Resistance because they have to resist it. You know what I mean? Yes. The Resistance is already established before that happens. And I know, for the fucking nerds out there, I've read the fucking books too. I know they explain that shit. It doesn't make it any better in the movie.
Yeah, fuck you, nerds.
We're specifically isolating this to the movies.
Yeah.
The books are fine. Like, I get it. It makes sense. But it's not in the movie. It doesn't make it better,
No, it's just they do nothing but fail.
Until they win.
Until they win.
Until the entire galaxy bails them out.
The power, yeah. Literally every ship in the galaxy shows up.
But like the leadership, just to quickly go through it because we got a bunch of stuff to go through. Leia, she's fine. Like, whatever, it's Leia. Mm-hmm. Poe, he's kind of like the de facto leader when Leia dies, I guess. He's like the main leader. First he was commander, and then... Or was it a captain? He was something. He got demoted. It's like, like in terms of that, whatever. I guess Rey would be a leader, maybe? I don't think Finn would be. It doesn't seem like he has that much like status within the Resistance.
No, yeah.
But yeah, and then it's like their tech and their stuff. Like, I like the troop, like the look of their helmets, like in the Battlefront game.
Yes.
Then like their ships, they're just slightly different versions of X-wings, A-wings, slightly different looking Mon Calamari ship.
Yes.
And then the stuff that is new just kind of looks like it's fine.
It looks kind of generic.
Yeah, it's just kind of like skinny looking, frail, which I guess thematically would make sense. But like, I don't know. It's just they don't have anything, and I guess that's kind of the point. But I don't know. They're my least favorite, easily. Right?
Yeah.
Is that all you have to say about that?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead to what I think is both of our number 5s.
Probably the first order?
Yeah, maybe. Go ahead.
Mine's the first order. I think a lot of my complaints they aren't shared with the Resistance. The First Order, I like more because they actually do stuff, but my biggest complaint is that we don't know shit about them. Like, there's a lot of substance and they have a lot of stuff to them.
Yep.
Like, oh, they've got jump packs, they've got red stormtroopers, they've got tanks, they
fly now.
They fly now, and like, it's cool. How did they get so much stuff? Aren't they just like remnants? Who are they?
If we're going by the movies?
If we're going by the movies.
I believe it is alluded to in one line in Episode 9 that Palpatine was responsible for the First Order. So, you could... No, because that doesn't make... Again, if I'm going strictly by the movies, they never say outright. Again, I've read the fucking books and shit, so like I know how it happens. But if I'm going by the movies, they never say how they have so much like power and like all of this stuff. It just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, it because like if you're gonna say, okay, Palpatine gave him all that shit, it's like, why didn't he do that in the original trilogy? Why didn't he make 10 Star Destroyers in the original trilogy with his brain?
10,000.
Sorry.
10 Star Destroyers.
What's 10 gonna do?
It wouldn't be powerful enough.
Yeah,
they need 10,000 with Star Destroyer weapons on the bottom of them.
Death Star weapons. Are you a fan?
No.
No.
Not anymore.
Not after this.
But like, a lot of the I mean, I don't have so many complaints as I do about the Resistance, about the First Order. A lot of it is just like, how did any of that shit get there?
Yeah. My number 5 is also the First Order, and there's like a little bit of a gap between them because I do like them. In The Force Awakens, they are at least somewhat menacing, if not for the fact that they took out the entire system, and then they kind of just, I guess, if you go by Last Jedi logic, take over the whole galaxy. If we're going by their tech, again, it's kind of like the Resistance, where it's like more of the same, but I think there's more variety. Like you said, they got those jump pack troopers. If you count the Sith Eternal, which I kind of grouped that up in this, it's like it's basically the same fucking thing.
I mean, if Palpatine's gonna take credit for the first one,
might as well.
Yeah.
I like the Supremacy, Snoke's giant flagship. Like, regardless of how did they build that, it does look neat.
Yeah. Definitely looked way more like Nazis this time around.
Yeah, I like it's like slightly different, but I like the troop design.
Yeah,
I like stormtroopers.
I liked Starkiller Base.
Yeah,
like I like how it was like let's make a base and a planet, kind of like Hoth, but instead of a giant shield generator, we have a fucking fuck ass giant
solar system gun.
Yeah, solar system destroying gun.
I mean that's what it is.
Oh, that's
I don't know. But yeah, I then if we're going by my logic again, like their philosophy is pretty solid, and it makes sense within the universe. And you know, if they want to reinstill the Empire, they want to improve upon what they did, Empire, and take control of the galaxy again.
3 strikes. Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. That part makes sense.
Yeah.
How they got their stuff doesn't, and that's why it's so low for me. And their leadership, like. I like all the characters on a surface level and or just in The Force Awakens. If I include everything, it's like Hux is a moron, Snoke is nothing, Kylo flip-flops too much, Phasma literally does nothing, you know.
And then who's the one other guy who has in the Dreadnought? He's the only other like general or whatever that we've seen, right?
You mean like the one that Poe blows up at the beginning of that's Captain Kennedy, I think. Yeah, him too. He was
Him too.
Yeah, him too. Him too. It sounds off, doesn't it? Yeah, unless you're in a friend group, you're not going to get that. But yeah, him too. So that's basically all I have to say about the First Order. Is like again. Oh, also like shipwise, I like those like U-boat looking things, the transports that like fold open.
They look like
those are cool.
Yeah, they look like U-boats. Literally.
Yes, yeah. But so go ahead with your number 4.
Okay, my number 4. This one was kind of hard because my number 4 and my number 3, I kind of put really close together, but for completely different reasons.
Okay.
But my number 4 is the CIS.
Oh, okay.
I like them.
Okay.
Like, I think if we're just going off the movies, I'm thinking like TV shows and all that too.
That's fine. That's close enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like they're really elevated, I think, with Clone Wars. Like
Mm-hmm.
just like the like droid variety and all that. But I love my favorite thing about them. Like I'll get to like the little details and all that, but like how they're literally a puppet army. You know.
Yeah.
Like
That's a good
they're
point.
literally droids controlled. Like the entire army is being controlled by Palpatine, right?
Yeah.
And the droids are being controlled by like the machines or whatever. They're droids. They're literally, they don't have like their own autonomy.
Right.
It's obviously very on the nose, but I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like just looking at like their philosophy, obviously they're a puppet army. You know.
Yeah.
There's not much. Unless you look at like the trade federations, like political.
When we get to that, I got something to say.
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. But how I look at it is like, I'm looking at like, I guess I'm trying to think like, should we include like the Senate if we talk about the Republic too? Like, is that all part of it?
When I was thinking about leadership, I was more so thinking about like Palpatine, maybe the Jedi.
So for the CIS, that'd be like General Grievous, Count Dooku.
Grievous, maybe Ventress.
Yeah,
you could throw in like some like little commanders, but Sidious as well. So.
I think CIS. I think they're so low for me, but I still like them. But they're just like a classic bad guy army.
Yeah.
Like when you look at it surface level, they have evil people that lead them. They have Count Dooku. Ooh, yeah, General Grievous. Ooh, he's Grievous. And like all the droid variants, I like how like in the Clone Wars, like they have underwater droids for underwater worlds. They have flying droids for worlds that don't have a lot of like footholds or whatever.
Yeah.
Very versatile. You can do a whole bunch with them.
Mm-hmm.
There's those droids that go undercover and bomb Coruscant. Like that's a whole
true.
thing. Yeah. Like there's the buzz droids, crab droids. Droidicas.
Yeah, I was thinking like commando droids too.
Yeah, commando
droids. The Magna Guards, the General Grievous Guards.
Yeah.
I mean, even just the simple evolution from like a battle droid to a super battle droid is kind of neat.
Yeah, even like in the movies, like they started off with being all controlled from a Trade Federation ship, and they figured out, if they blow the ship up, we're fucked. We're just straight up done.
Yeah,
and then like they literally evolved as time went on.
Yeah.
Like even like super battle droids, like they have like regular ones, but then they also have jetpack ones and rocket launcher ones.
That's true. Yeah, there's lots of variation as well.
I think that's just because the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy just got so much like other stuff added to it, so that's probably why I like it so much. And I grew up with it, but I love just the simpleness of the droid army.
Simplicity.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what they want. You know what they're here for. You know how to fucking kill them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then just briefly, there's the whole, I don't know what you want to call it, like parallel or like...
Do you want to say where you ranked the CIS on your list just so we can kind of talk about it all at the same time?
If you want. That was my number... It almost was my number 1, but that's my number 3.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I really like them. I was going to say there's that whole... I guess it's duality of, like, the droids are very cheap to manufacture. You can mass produce them, but they don't really have... I don't want to say, like, intelligence. I mean, when they have that, like, pack on their back, they can kind of, like... Not free will, but they have, like, a little bit of personality. Compare that with the clones, where it's, like, they cost more and they're produced slower, but they're more efficient, Yeah. You're gonna get more bang for your buck there.
Oh yeah.
But the thing, you can overwhelm someone with the droids. There's a nice little like compare and contrast. Like they have their pros and their cons.
Yeah.
With, like they basically are just two fodder armies. It's just Palpatine playing with them.
Yeah, and like even this like we can make better droids, but those cost more money.
Yes.
Like, we can't just mass produce commando droids.
No. Yeah. I really like the CIS fleet, like their
the Trade Federation ships.
Yeah, well, like those and like the General Grievous's flagship looking thing, and like the little frigates as well.
Yes,
the droid starfighters, all that. Like if we're going like by the army and stuff, great. I mean, you've already touched upon that, and like the leadership as well. Count Dooku is a interesting character, Grievous as well, and obviously Ventress probably more interesting than both of them if we're just going by like the movies and shows. But also, like, going into their motivation, kind of going off of what you said a little bit, like, the people that army is for are people that seceded from the Republic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they think there's something wrong with the Republic. They want to change it. And so they got this army. They're going to try and, you know, it's basically another galactic civil war.
Yeah.
So it's not like the people think that they're bad or anything. That's one of the best episodes of Clone Wars is where Padme and Ahsoka go to, like, the Senate for the Confederacy. And, you know, she learns, like, you know, they're not all evil. They actually have good points and stuff. And, you know, she's like, yeah, my husband was murdered by the clones, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's showing that, you know, not everything is so black and white. And, you know, I don't know, it's a nice little companion.
Yeah.
That's why I like them so much, is that whole, like, splintering of the galaxy, and, like, they want this and the Republic doesn't want to give it, so they're fighting each other.
And it's so tragic too, like, referencing back in that episode, you're like, oh, these people just want to fight, like, just like to have their own independence from the Republic. It's
right.
Like,
yeah.
Even that is fake, though.
Yes.
Even
yeah.
that's not
for
real.
Even that's the brilliant part about Dooku. I don't feel like he gets enough credit. Is like he's a Jedi that left the Order because he saw, like, the corruption not only in the Jedi but the Republic itself. So you have that guy leading you, rallying all these, like, star systems and people. Like, that's pretty brilliant. And then he's being manipulated by another guy who's manipulating the entire thing.
The CIS on face value are just bad guy army, but, like, they're so just, like, the higher up you get, the more complex it gets. Mm-hmm. Just like who's controlling who.
Yes.
You know? It just keeps going.
Mm-hmm. I also like the tanks and stuff. Just like another minor. I just remembered that, like, because the First Order
MTTs.
and and the AATs, like the little things with, like, the big cannon that swivels and it's, like, laying back. And
I like that the starfighters are droids and they don't have pilots in them.
Yes, that confused me with the Battlefront 2 game as a kid. I was like, wait, are they not? Can you not? But anyway, what is your? I'm gonna guess we have, like, the same.
You gotta do your number 4.
So my number 4. So my number 3 was the CIS. My number 4 is the Rebellion. I'm gonna guess that's your number 3. Okay, so we just had those flip-flop.
Yeah.
I think they're good. I like them a lot. And there is a sizable gap between Rebellion and the First Order in terms of my list.
Yeah, I was going to say, it definitely jumped up from number 5 to number 4. Like,
right.
Number 5, mainly complaints, while number 4 is mainly compliments.
Yes. It's just, I guess, if you want to go into the reasons why I don't have them higher, their leadership is fine. Everything is just sort of fine. I really like the diversity, not only in, like, the species, but, like, in the ships too. Like, it's just X-wings, all these, you know, Y-wings, A-wings, B-wings, all these, like, just, like, hodgepodge, just the Falcon leading them.
Literally whatever they can get.
Yes, and it's a nice contrast to the Empire, which is, like, super uniform, all human. TIE fighters all look the same for, like, the specific model and all that. Then, you know, the Rebellion, like, paints their ships and stuff. I like the Big Mon Calamari cruisers, but
some of the best ships.
Yes, and I mean, their motive is, I guess, everything is just good. It's serviceable, it's fine, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I prefer the other stuff because their motivation is restore the Republic, fight the Empire. It's like good, simple, got it. You know, Luke, Han, Leia, Akbar, Mon Mothma, all the leaders are fine.
Yeah.
I guess it's mainly. I guess it is their, like, tech and stuff. Like, the rebel soldiers just kind of look. I always imagine like the Endor troopers, because that's what you played in Battlefront 2.
Yeah, those are the guys with, like, the white hats.
Oh, those as well. Yeah, it's like there's no, like, standard looking rebel soldier.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's not a problem or anything, especially when, you know, it's supposed to be diverse. But, you know, I don't know. It's just good. I don't really I'm not, like, super crazy about it or anything, you know.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I like them mainly for, like, the non-uniformity they have.
Okay.
I like that the rebels are literally always losing, but they're like, we can still pull it back. We can still do it. Like, they get a victory, obviously, blowing up the Death Star, but like most of the time it's like, okay, we're probably not gonna do too great. We just gotta mash some shit.
Desperate.
Yeah, mash some shit together, make it work.
Yeah, like, you know, like the evacuation of Hoth, and like when they go attack the second Death Star, they're like, "Can we do it?" And then it's like, "Oh, we're in this trap," and it's like they're losing.
Yeah.
Just a quick question: how in comparison to the Resistance, because you said they're always losing and that was a negative, why do you think it's more of a positive with the Rebellion?
Because they're supposed to represent, like, hope for the galaxy. You know, because they're like, the Empire is this giant force. How could we ever stand up to that? Well, we are, you know. We're still losing, but we're still going to keep going. And we're still going to get a victory here and there. While the Resistance is just like, we're about to die. Okay. We need to stop them. And it just feels like they're just like kind of fumbling.
They're like fumbling and like they're just going by like the...
Yeah. It's like it gets worse, and they're just like, we just have to fucking make it.
Yeah, and just like there's winging it the whole time. And like, I guess we'll do this.
Yeah, and they've had, for thinking like we don't really know how much like the Resistance actually had like ship wise or army wise, but like it
was not much. It was not much.
I can imagine, but like I don't know. I just feel like the Resistance was just they could have if need be, they could rally the entire galaxy and be like, hey, they blew up a solar system. Yeah. And they would go, oh shit, and like make an entire fleet of ships and go, okay, send everybody to the First Order. Send everyone to Starkiller Base right now.
Yeah.
Like yeah, while the rebels were like, oh, we have nothing, but we're still gonna keep fighting.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
I forgot to, you just reminded me, for the First Order thing, I do feel like another reason why they're so low is they get undermined by the Sith Eternal Fleet in Rise of Skywalker. They're like the main threat, and then they just sort of get undercut in the last movie. And the final battle isn't even against the First Order. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's like it's like the Sith fleet gets defeated, and then they're like, okay, now we're gonna take down the First Order. Like, oh, it's just that simple. Okay.
Yeah. Like, and then if you say Palpatine's the one that made them, it's like, oh, well then the First Order was like almost meaningless.
Almost.
Almost. Funny joke.
Yeah. Anyway, that's basically all I have to say about the Rebellion. I don't know about you.
I'm a big sucker for like hope in the face of like just insurmountable odds. Okay. And the Rebels are, I think on this list, they're the most hopeful because they're literally just a militia fighting against an empire.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. Go ahead with your number 2.
Yes. My number 2 is the Republic.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I love how ambiguous the Republic is. Okay. Because, like, you can look at it from, like, multiple angles of you can look at the Republic from multiple angles of itself, right? Right. You can look at it from, like, a clone trooper's point of view and be like, what is our purpose here? Like, what happens when we're done fighting? Stuff like that. You can look at it from, like, Padme, like, why does everybody want to keep fighting? Okay. You know? And it's like, you can look at it from the Jedi and be like, oh, we're helping. What we're doing is good. And it's like, it's not really black and white in the Republic. Right. There's so many different moving... That's why I asked about the Senate. Because, like, the Senate is, in and of itself, like, it's, like...
its own entity.
Yeah, they battle each other in the Senate, you know? Huh. And it's like, with the Republic, you're like, you look at what they do, like, oh, they're fighting the droids, yeah, because the droids are killing people. But it's like, are they doing better though? Like, they're not killing as many civilians, yeah, but like, they're occupying hundreds and hundreds of worlds, right, in the name of safety and all that. It's been brought up 100 times, in, you know, Clone Wars and stuff. But like, that's what I love that about the Republic. Not going into their armies or anything too much because. Obviously, I could go on about fucking different clone troopers. Yeah. I love that as gray morally that it is that Jedis are generals. Mm-hmm. I love that each Jedi has their own clone trooper commander that's unique.
Yeah.
And like
that they're buddies with.
Yeah, and then they have like their squad, you know.
Yep.
You know, Jedi Masters getting like super weird specialized squads like what's the Jedi? Is it Plo Koon that has the wolf pack?
Yes.
Yeah. Like, that's just cool. That's just cool. That's badass, dude. That's fucking badass. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
But, like, if you just look at, like, aesthetically, I love how they're like, oh, these guys are going to be stormtroopers.
Yeah, like, yes, the foreshadowing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of like with the droid army, I like how they have the the versatility.
Okay.
Like you have like underwater troops, you got like jetpack troops, you have stealth troops, you have all that stuff. That's why I like the Republic.
That was also my number 2. So I think the only differences in our list is the CIS and the Rebellion. Yeah. Although I will say, I was teetering between Empire and Republic the most. But we'll get into the Empire when that's time. Yeah, just aesthetically, the clones, like the Phase 1, the Phase 2, the different colors, the legions. Man, that's just so cool and creative, and I love their like arsenal, like their armory, like the turbo tank and the ATTE.
Oh, and like the ARC troopers.
Yes,
I forgot about different.
Or those little chicken walker looking things. Yeah. Oh god, ATRTs. That's it.
I love the gunships they have.
Yes, the gunships and the Venator class Star Destroyers and the Acclimators. Like I was also thinking like if one of these fleets just popped out in front of me, which would be the one that I would be like? What would be like one of the ones where I'd be like, oh my god, that's awesome. This was up there. I think I might like this fleet slightly more than the Empire, but we'll get to that. But yeah, just awesome variety and like the morality of everything and like what they're trying to do is like restore the Republic, but like at the end of the day, it doesn't mean anything. Yeah. And like the purpose of the clones and the Jedi and everything. I mean, we've talked about that when we talked about the prequels and the Clone Wars a lot. Yeah, then like the leadership is basically Palpatine and the Senate and the Jedi Order, and like the Jedi are like almost working for the Senate in some regards, and the Jedi are like also being morally gray about things, and I don't know. I really like them. I love the conflict of the Clone War and everything. Basically everything you said, you taking the words right out of my mouth and then some. So number 1 for me, I would assume. Number 1 for me is definitely Empire.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Again, if we're going strictly off, or if we're going into leadership, Emperor Palpatine, Grand Moff Tarkin, Darth Vader, Thrawn, Admiral Piet, all of these great like tacticians. They're menacing villains, each in their own right. Maybe not Piet, but like it's so, and they're iconic too, and they're villain, like they're pure menacing villains. Yeah, like they're Vader's look, Palpatine and his evil machinations, and like what he wants to do.
Just the sheer amount of force that they have. Yeah,
and I mean their goal basically is just pure control. Like they will just keep expanding and everything and squash the rebellion. And I love like the vehicles and like the fleets. Like there's so many different TIE fighters. There's like the TIE Interceptors, there's the TIE Bombers, there's Grand Admiral Thrawn's TIE Defenders.
Yeah.
There's Star Destroyers, there's those Interdictor Star Destroyers.
There's the Star Destroyer that just holds ships.
Is that you talk about the one with the balls on it?
No. It's got like a hangar, just a big hangar in it. It's from Rebels.
Oh yeah, the one that was in Mandalorian that you're talking about, like Moff Gideon's looking thing.
Yes.
Yeah, that one. I don't know what that's called, but I know what you're talking about. That there's the Gazanti class ones, the one that looks like the little like weird ship, and it's got like the 4 TIE fighters underneath.
Yeah, talk about like it's that like, thing? It's like a cruiser or something.
Yes. I don't know the fucking name of that one.
All right. I'm not a real fan.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like all of that, and then like the troopers. If you want to get into the troopers, like
I mean
all of their like the different variations of stormtroopers and the 501st Legion in the Imperial era is amazing, and the Death Troopers and the
Inquisition.
The Inquisitors as well. Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
Inquisitors. It's weird to think watching like the prequel or the original trilogy, like the Inquisitors are here too, just not here.
Actually, they were defunded in 3 BBY.
I don't know, but I know what you mean. Yeah, no, it's like I don't know. It's great, and then like AT-ATs and the AT-STs are amazingly designed.
Yeah, the designs for the Empire stuff are like universally recognized, and I know we haven't talked about the music yet, but the Imperial March, is like it's perfect.
Yes,
it's just perfect for the.
That's a good point. You know what? The Resistance theme is good.
Yeah, let's talk on music real fast. We kind of skipped over that for all these, but like
just briefly.
Yeah.
So yeah, Resistance theme is good. First Order's theme, I think, is Kylo Ren's theme. Again, it's those 5 notes. That's good too. CIS basically kind of shares a theme with the Republic.
I was gonna say which I like.
Yes.
There you go. That. Yeah, I was gonna say parallel. I like the Republic because it doesn't sound necessarily good and hopeful.
Yeah.
Like what's the Rebellion? What would the Rebellion theme be?
Isn't that the I guess it's like the main theme of Star Wars in a way, or like the dun 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 dun. Yeah, like that. Yeah. That, okay, I would consider that.
That's like that song like kind of gives you like a rising hope, you know. Exactly how the Rebellion should make you feel.
What's the theme for Rebels, the show?
Then there's go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's what we just said. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. I guess that they thought that was the theme for Rebellion too. But Empire is your number 1 as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. No.
I assume.
Yeah.
I love how imposing they are. Mm-hmm. It makes the Rebellion feel that much more like just like faithless.
Yeah.
Not faithless, just like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Almost like in a desperate situation.
Yeah, because like one Star Destroyer can probably wipe out the Rebellion, like if it catches them off guard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, if a Star Destroyer just popped out of hyperspace right over Yavin 4 and they didn't know it was coming.
Probably bombard them, yeah.
Yeah, and like, damn. Okay, what if they send a fleet of them?
Yeah, they're very imposing. Yes.
Yes. Every time I watch it, it's like, damn, how are they gonna beat them?
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean the Death Stars as well. I completely forgot to mention that the Death Stars are neat. I don't know. They're just they're a good villain, and they're unlike the First Order. They're not like idiots, like tactician wise, like I don't know, like whenever we talk about The Last Jedi, we can go into like the actual tactics of like Hux and all that, but like the Battle of Hoth was pretty like well thought. They didn't send out like 50 million like AT-ATs, you know, they just put a few on the ground. They had the ships over in orbit, you know, and then like whenever they lose something, it doesn't feel like it was because of their own incompetence. They either didn't account for it or they just got overwhelmed, you know?
Because you don't need to make the enemies incompetent for the heroes to beat them.
Right.
You know, you can just make the heroes smarter or more lucky or whatever.
Right.
But like that's how it feels with the Empire. It's like, oh, we lost because they just outsmarted us a little bit. Or
yes.
Like, they just got away.
They saw an oversight that we didn't see, or you know, unlike the First Order where it's like comically large yet so incompetent. It's like, you should be able to destroy these people with your sheer numbers. There's no reason.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels goofy, you know?
Yeah, literally.
It's like Tarkin was like ruthless, and General Hux at first seemed to be the same, and then it turned out to just be like a doofy weirdo.
I know.
So,
it's like you said, his speech was really cool in Episode 7.
Oh yeah, it made it kind of scary, and like when the beam fired, he was kind of shaking, and you kind of got the sense like maybe he didn't fully like, he was just now realizing like the power of this thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like for as powerful as he is, he was nothing compared to that. But
could make him excited and be like, I wield this power.
Yeah, he wasn't like smiling or anything. He was just sort of like frigidly like looking at it, you know? Yeah. Empire is my favorite. Just to recap, I mean, we basically had the same list. It goes Resistance, First Order, big gap, Rebels, for me, Rebels, CIS. For you, it's CIS, Rebels, then Republic, and then Empire. I think what gave Empire the edge, I think it might just be the iconography of it, of like the Star Destroyers and everything, and maybe the leadership was stronger. I would say
more ruthless.
Ruthless, yeah.
Whereas the leadership was kind of split between Jedis and like commanders and stuff.
Yeah, and the politics and all that, like you mentioned. So yeah. I guess that's going to be it for this episode. Did you have anything you would like to add to anything?
Retcon the Resistance.
Oh God, don't do that, Max.
Retcon Resistance, #Retcon Resistance.
Don't be doing, dude. You know that there's people saying that retcon the sequels.
Oh yeah.
Those people I don't want to be associated with that, Max.
I don't know. The movies exist.
That's the thing, yeah. Make them better. Make a show that like boosts it up like the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
The answer isn't just, oh, we'll just wipe the slate clean. No, work with what you got.
Maybe they'll make it good.
You don't like The Last Jedi?
No, I don't like
Get
Star
out.
Wars.